Hello there, I've just been out filming using this quad to do a review of the HCRC Ford MT VTX, and if I'm clever I'll be putting a little link up here on the screen, one of the sides. I was flying this with my Taranis, the old X9D, the original one, because that's what it had, but I've never had the opportunity to do a side-by-side comparison with the range for the Jumper T12 Pro. Now I've used this and I've gone out in a different quad to the end of the field, not a problem, but I've not done a side-by-side comparison because this has an X4R on the top here, so it's nice and easy to bind. Not getting a particularly nice signal. I mean, this measures in dB and it was like 50 to 60 at the end of the field, which is about 500 meters. So I'm going to bind it on this one. I'm going to do the same flight. It's very boring. It just goes up and comes back around again, but I should be able to do a very easy side-by-side comparison, and we'll see if this has got reasonably the same sort of range that the Taranis X9D has got. Let's check it out. So I've gone ahead and put my footage side by side because I was kind of doing the same route every time, so I'm hoping these would sync up. But surprisingly, they do sync quite nicely. So straight from the get-go, I can see that the Taranis X9D is about 10 points ahead. Now this X4R is a telemetry receiver, so we end up getting this telemetry signal back to the radio and then sending it as a channel to get it on the OSD, which is a little bit slower and doesn't seem quite as precise as with like an RSSI on the receiver. But yeah, it seems pretty consistently about 10 points down all the way out there, which is less than the X9D, but not outrageous. Again, it's not an exact science, it's more about are they vaguely comparable. But it's quite interesting, as we do the turn, I find that the Jumper T12 then signal picks up, whereas on the X9D it gets slightly worse. And I think the X9D actually gets lower than the Jumper T12 along the way here. And again, there's no real agenda to doing this. I was more interested to know if it would be comparable. Would we get the same sort of range from a receiver using the Jumper that we do on the X9D? And yeah, roughly about the same, although weirdly up and down in various places. So helpfully enough, on the quad where I'm flying the T12, I managed to bring it down a little bit low and catch it in the grass. But you can see on the final screen there that it gets a min RSI 50%, which compares, when I eventually land and then roll over in the X9D, a minimum RSI of 42%, I think. Although I don't read too much into this. It's just kind of interested in the comparison. With that said though, I wouldn't say go out and get yourself a Jumper T12 Pro at the moment, because there's still a rather large bug that happens when the code attempts to access the SD card, which happens when it tries to play any noise, where it just falls out the sky. So I'm going to wait until OpenTX 238 is out, which should fix that bug, and then I can get back to testing the radio a bit more thoroughly. But in the meantime, that's my little comparison, and make of it what you will. I thought it might be useful. Until the next time, catch you later. Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.